dumb American, arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting the fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Trying to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. I can show you where
the type of guy that would ride with the breeze. I'm higher than most people. I'm cold and icicle freeze. I'm liking to Mike Tyson. I'm a bison, a beast. I'm hot like Jamaica, like right by the beach. My pops is from a spot where they're fighting for peace. 8 years old, out there watching people fight in the streets. All these sirens only make the violence increase. Yeah, we're still not loving police. It's that bright young American, nice, dumb, arrogant. Tight on a mic, but he might need a therapist. Heart full of kerosene, head full of fairy tales. Said that you're my homie, you don't know me, but I know you very well. Roll back on some West Coast shit. This whole track is wetter than your dress code kiss. About to hit the track, running on some retro fit. I guess I'll lit, I guess I'll bitch, now let's go.
Show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve. Even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday. Sports Nonsense and Whiskey coming to you live with the fellas. Oh, it's going to be a good show, people. Stick with us because we're going to move fast to start. We got our boy Cody in the house giving us a little NHL breakdown. We're going to do some NBA recap because shit got crazy last night. And then robot umps are probably going to be a thing. So we'll give a quick shout out to MLB, and then we're rolling into draft. This is going to be a draft heavy show. This is going to be a majority draft show. There's a lot to talk about. Draft goes on Thursday, and we still don't have answers to most of the questions that are going to go down, but we're going to talk about it. And we're going to give you our thoughts on where we think people should be going, not what we think they're going to do. And we'll break that down as we start the draft and how we roll. So that being said, Cody, welcome, my guy. Always good to see your face and have you back on.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy being with the fellas on a Tuesday night.
That a boy.
Yeah, buddy.
Everybody else, cheers. How we doing this evening? Robert, Pinky, my boys.
Doing excellent, man. Hanging in there.
I got my Broncos draft hat tonight, so I am ready for Detroit. I love it. I love these draft hats this year.
It's a clean hat. It's a clean hat.
I want the Lions one for sure.
The Lions blue. So most of the teams have a gray, and then some of them have an alternate of their actual color. So the Broncos do have an all orange of this. Lions have blue, Panthers have blue, like really sharp ones too. Like they're awesome, and they all have like the state. I can't really tell with my headphones. This has got Broncos country on the side as a Colorado flag. It's awesome. So the Browns one's nice. My son got that. We're ready. My buddy couldn't get a Chiefs one out here before we left, so he's just going to buy one at the shop when we get there. We're ready, man.
Where'd you guys go to get the hats if they didn't have all 32?
The place in the mall, man. They had a limited number. I only got this because the lady held it aside for me.
Oh,
she actually they have most
sold
of
out.
hats.
Is what you're saying?
They're pretty sold out. She keeps most of her hats down at the Chapel Hills Mall. But she knew I wanted this, so she brought this one up from Chapel Hill or from the Citadel Mall, particularly for me, because she knows I buy a draft hat from them every year. We talk, she's a awesome lady, so I try to support the local store. And then they didn't have the Browns, so as soon as she told me they didn't have Browns, I just jumped on Fanatics and got a Browns one on its way. So
smart.
Junior was going to want it, so. I don't have any nonsense this weekend, boys. It was a laid-back weekend. We had nuggets and I had poker. was fun. Made an ass of myself. I mean, that's what I do. So,
Okay.
Drank a little too much. I was 6 out of 12. I guess I wasn't awful, but their blinds would go up every 20 minutes religiously. The blinds went up. The home game I play in, the blinds don't really start moving until we're later in the night and we're wanting to get it moving along. At that point, that's when they start moving. These guys were like every 20 minutes. So before you know it, you're blinded pretty quick. So
win or sit out, because those blinds will eat you alive.
Absolutely. It was like move. So and I moved at the wrong time. I basically went all in with King 8 with an 8-7-6 on the board. I was like top pair. I was big blind, and just so happened the kid that called me had 10-9 in his hand, so he flopped the straight, and I was pretty much dead.
I'm not. I mean, if I'm big blind, I'll stay in with a King 8. If I'm little blind, depending on what that raise is initially, I might fold. And anything else, I'm not playing a King 8, my guy. What are you doing?
King 8, small stack in the big blind. I mean,
as the big blind, you got to play it, right? Like you got to go. But
and they raised all night. Like, you did not play a hand. This may have been one of the first ones that was not raised all night. So you didn't play a hand, for the blind. You played a
people
hand
are just
like you were
throwing
putting
chips into the middle, huh?
every time. They were 2-3 betting it easy. Somebody would come and say like 8, and the next thing you know, it'd be 24. And you're like, wait, 24? I don't like these that much. And so,
yeah, I'm gonna sit out. Yeah.
So
that's
King
the
8,
problem.
they didn't raise. If they would have raised, I would have probably gotten off of it. But they didn't raise. We went to the flop. The flop comes out. I have top pair. Someone might be chasing a straight. It just happened the guy had the nut straight to start with. So
gotta count those cards and do them odds in your head.
with the kind of drinking I do, Caleb, you don't count very long, okay? If I'm out playing cards, I'm out trying to have a good time, and I'm trying to have some fun with everybody. So
cheers, my guy.
Yeah, I get I may have a couple and have a good time. And the people I was playing with, I'd never played with them before. Really good dudes. Really good dudes. So
okay. So real quick nonsense. And I don't think Pinky saw this. Cody, have you seen Rebel Moon yet on Netflix?
No, I have not.
Okay. So we'll try to keep it spoiler free. I know Robert's watched it. I don't even have to ask.
Yep.
2 better than 1. Would we agree on that?
I don't know, man. I feel like
1 was pretty bad. 1 was pretty bad.
It just seemed like we kept getting the team up shots, and I'm like, this is a 2-hour-long movie. What are we doing here? Like, there's just didn't seem to have much to further. And then the way they end it, I'm like, wait a minute, what? That's it?
Wait, really? The way they ended it was set up for a couple more movies. What are you talking about? That's it.
I don't know if I want more movies from this, man. It just didn't do it for me.
I will say I hear people talking about the way he did slow-mo and these buddy shots.
That's why it was 2 hours.
And blah that. There was actually a story worth listening to and following in this second one. You actually started to care about the characters. They actually started to develop an arc, actually, unlike the first one. So I think it is actually worth Netflix doing the third one and seeing where he could take it, to be honest with you.
I don't know, man. A lot of the people in my group have just like walked away from it completely. It's just.
I mean, I wouldn't blame somebody if they did, but I walked away.
If they do a third one, I will absolutely watch it. I'm not going to just outright say that. I mean, I will more than likely watch it. I just wasn't. I felt like what they did from the first one to this one, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the director's cuts. Maybe that'll provide something that I'm missing.
Well, the writer came out and said, like, the fact that they're not doing the release the way Snyder wanted it is a mistake because the story is so much better. And I believe it because Justice League was way better with the Snyder cut than the other one.
Although, let's be fair, and you're absolutely right, it was. But it shouldn't take 4 hours to tell that story. I'm just saying.
Here's the deal, though. Just like Lord of the Rings, if I think what you're including is worthy of being within the story and it's not just some throwaway piece, I'm okay with how long it is. And I felt like the way he did Justice League, there weren't really a lot of throwaway scenes. It all kind of built on itself. And so I'm good with it. Could he make it a little more concise and still tell the story? Yes. I'm not going to say he couldn't. But I don't mind the longer epic movie if it's got a good story going.
Poor Cody's over here like, nerds, let's talk some sports already. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm all about that. I have my nerd trends, but it's all good.
My big thing is I'll wait and see. I'm still gonna watch the director's cuts and give it another shot. I don't know.
I'm surprised at you. I thought the story was 1,000 times better. The characters were way more well-rounded in the second one.
That means when I watch it, I get to break the tie.
You do?
Yeah.
Actually,
look, I already know you're going to
download it. I'm going to download it tonight.
Watch it on the plane tomorrow.
I have a 3-hour plane ride to Detroit. So
here's the deal. I already know if you don't say it's better, my mind will be completely blown. Because I know the first one was bad and you were fully on board with how bad the first one was. So I'll be mind blown if you don't say it was better. What I think we more want to hear from you between Robert and I, which would be breaking the tie, is did you actually feel like there was a story worth being entertained by, worth following, if you will? Or was it something more like along the lines of Robert, where it's like, nah, none of that was really meaningful to me? That's where we need to hear what's happening. And if you liked it more than the first one, because Robert obviously doesn't.
I don't know how. It's crazy. I really did not like that first one, and I'm typically going to give something like that. As long as I'm entertained, I'll still say, hey, it's all right. I was entertained. I was kind of just like, I got to push through it just to finish. But
Charlie Hunnam's character is one of the worst characters in film that I can remember, just because of the lack of any reason for him to be there. Like it was just so poorly written. There was no development of the character. There was no arc. It was just bad. Like just bad. I got B movies that I'll watch that people complain about characters, and he was better. So, yeah, ugly.
Let's get Cody going.
Going. Let me do a segue, jackass.
Wait, I got one nonsense thing real quick for the two of you. The Shogun finale is out. You all can watch the binge in 10 episodes. Go crazy. That's all I got. Caleb,
I need to get into Shogun.
I watched the first one.
Starting tomorrow.
I watched the first one. It was enjoyable.
But
it's marked. I'm going to burn right through them.
That's all I had to say. So Caleb, take it away.
Done. Speaking of ugly, we got our boy Cody here to do us a little hockey breakdown and what them goons are doing on the ice.
Always.
Pinky, huh? That wasn't bad, huh?
You've done better, but it's pretty good.
All right, well,
Cody, the floor is yours.
Give
us this breakdown of the NHL playoffs.
And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But going into these playoffs, I always believe to win the Stanley Cup, you need three things. You need some great goaltending, whether it's one solid goalie or you could have two and bounce them back and forth. So you need solid goaltending. You need depth scoring. So teams usually shut down your top scoring line. So you need that depth scoring. So your 1, 2, and 3 lines need to be scoring. And your fourth line is your more defensive line to shut down the other team. So you need three scoring lines. And if you can score from defensemen, even better. And also you need to capitalize on your power plays. Teams that kill a penalty are going to gain momentum on you. That's just a fact. So those are the three main things you need to win the cup.
All right, I like that. So that's what we're keeping in mind as you start running through these matchups.
Yep, we'll keep that in mind. Okay, so we're going to start out in the East. leave the West for last. So first matchup I have is the Battle of Florida, Lightning versus Panthers.
That's a good series.
And both teams have great goalies. Florida has Bobrovsky, and Lightning has Vasilevsky.
That's a tough Russian.
Yep. I strongly believe this is the Lightning's last run because they're running into cap issues.
Yeah.
Steven Stamkos is an upcoming free agent, and he wants to hit the market. I'm hearing. So it's just a great battle of Florida. Always a great rivalry. I'm having the Panthers in 6 on that one.
Like
I think
2-2 tonight.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are gonna pull this out and win in 6. So that we're just kind of gonna run through these things. If you guys want to dwell on anything, let me know. So now we're gonna go to Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Boston Bruins.
Can they do it?
Can the Leafs do it? I think their goalies are gonna sell out on them.
Oof.
I think Boston's is a better built team. Yes, Toronto has the offensive firepower, but I think Boston is a better all-around built team. So I have the Bruins in 5.
Oh.
Whoa, easy. Whoa.
Yeah, that's why it says I eat crow for a living. So anytime you
So the Leafs are only gonna they won yesterday. That's the only game they're gonna win.
I only think they're only gonna win that. I
Cody's
think Boston's gonna figure it out.
Cody's like, put a fork in them. They're done.
Dude,
It's
being
the
a Leafs
Leafs.
fan is tough. I don't know if there's a
Uh-huh.
harder team to be a fan of in North American sports than a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Cleveland Browns.
Like I said, like they're just bad.
Detroit
You
Lions.
expect bad.
Yeah, you have high expectations and they just don't meet
Yeah,
it.
the Browns aren't sitting there like breaking your heart every year because they're supposed to do something good. You know what I mean? Like that's tough. That's tough.
Mhm. So now we're gonna just move on to the Capitals versus the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers won the President's Trophy. What happens to the President Trophy winners?
Not good things.
They don't things don't pan out. But the Capitals did sneak into this last seed. So, and the Rangers are just playing dominant hockey right now.
They just went up 2-0.
So Rangers fans, get out them brooms. You're gonna sweep the series.
Nice.
So if the Rangers, because they won the President's Cup, I think the curse is gonna catch them in round 2.
Oh. Ooh. New York Rangers fans, also a tough fan group to be around.
Yeah. Then we're gonna go to the Islanders and Hurricanes. Based on what I'm seeing in these 2 games that happened, the Islanders can't even hold a lead going into the third period. They had a 3-goal lead going into the third, and they were like 10 minutes into the third. They gave up a goal. About a few minutes later, they gave up 2 more goals in a span of 9 seconds, and blew their lead.
Oof.
Yeah, and on the game tying goal, all the Islanders defense, all they did was just look and just watch the puck go by. They didn't even try to defend it or anything. So because of that, Hurricanes are going to sweep them.
Well, Hurricanes are playing arguably the best hockey right now.
Hurricanes did go at the trade deadline. Hurricanes did go all in and to get Jake Gensel from Pittsburgh, and he's an upcoming free agent too. So they're kind of pushed all in to try to get some more scoring on their team, which was a great move. And coming out of the East, I have a coin flip between the Bruins and the Hurricanes. But I think the Hurricanes are going to come out and represent your East in the Stanley Cup final.
Like it.
So let's bounce over to the West side. And we're going to start with probably one of my least favorite matchups between the Knights and the Stars. Probably everyone's least favorite matchup in this group.
The way hockey does, I think we can all agree. The way hockey does their postseason seeding is a joke.
Yeah, they need to go back. And I wanted to bring that up. They need to go back to the 1 through 8 seed. Forget about these divisions.
Yeah.
Just 1 through 8.
I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about how the Stars Knights series could be a Stanley Cup series, and one of them's going home in the first round. That's bad promotion, NHL. That's not how you do yourself.
But
good.
I think we can agree.
Yeah, if you looked at the standings, the East, the way the matchups fell in the East, if that 1 through 8 happened, it'd stay I think it all stays the same. But on the West side, it all shifts around.
For sure.
And so, but yeah, I was going to bring that up, but I just kind of cut that out because I know we got a big night ahead of us, fellas.
It's worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah.
So who wins?
Someone even mentioned everyone 1 through 16. Who cares about East versus West?
I was all like that idea as well.
But if you're the Vancouver Canucks, you are flying a lot. It's racking up those frequent flyer miles. But anyways, let's go to the Knights and the Stars.
Wait. Yeah.
And Vegas Golden Knights, they're always cheating the cat. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Mark Stone, their captain, has been on long-term IR for 24 games of the season. Oh, right when playoffs say, guess what? He's magically healthy. He's going to be starting. And what does he do in his first game back? Scores a goal.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah, so
we all know how I feel about the salary cap. Cheers to that, man.
There's no such thing as a salary cap, Caleb. But yeah, he scores a goal on his first game back. But the Stars, the Knights are the incumbent champs, so they have a battle on their hands.
I dislike both of them, but I dislike the Knights less. I hate the Stars. Fuck them.
Yeah, but the Stars have a big battle on their hands. But just because the Knights have that championship pedigree, the Knights are going to find a way to win this in 7.
I like that.
It's going to be a battle, but they're going to find a way.
Let's go.
And then we're going to go bounce to Predators versus the Canucks. The Canucks have all the right cards to make a run at this cup. Have all the right cards. They have a great goalie in Thatcher Demko, and he's probably one of the best goalies in the league. They have depth scoring. They have great defensemen that can move the puck. Predators, I think they snuck in on this in this last spot. So Canucks are sweeping this series because they just played dominant in their first game. I just didn't see any holes in their game. So Canucks.
Side note, real quick, can we talk about for 30 seconds how ridiculous it is that Nashville and Memphis are in the Western Division of their respective sports for NHL and NBA?
Yeah, that's
pretty dumb. That's I'm just gonna say that's pretty dumb. We'll throw that out there real fast while we're discussing.
I know they're not even west of the Mississippi.
Dude, it makes zero sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. So we're gonna go to probably one of my least favorite teams in the NHL, the Kings versus the Oilers.
I wonder why.
I
was just talking out loud. I wonder why the Kings are one of your least favorite. I'm not going to
go down that rabbit hole, Caleb, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But this is going to be one of the highest scoring series in the NHL, especially because you have McDavid, Draisaitl on one side, and the Kings can put up some points as well.
Is there a better player in the NHL right now than McDavid?
You can argue Austin Matthews. You could argue Austin Matthews. You could argue, quite a few players. Nathan McKinnon has put his hat in the ring.
I would say Nathan McKinnon might be the MVP this year, but McDavid is doing Gretzky-like things. And I'm not saying he's as good as Gretzky, but he's doing Gretzky-like things, which is crazy.
McKinnon, Matthews, and McDavid all have valid arguments to win the MVP of the league. And I will not be upset if either one of them 3-1.
Sure.
So, That is but like I said, the Oilers top line, McDavid, Draisaitl, that's a tough task to stop. And the Kings goaltending I don't think they're going to hold up. I have Oilers in this series in 5.
Long are the days that quicken net.
Yeah, he's over playing with the New York Rangers now, being a backup. So now we're gonna go to the Avs and Jets, and you're probably gonna hate me.
No,
I'm
not at
gonna
all.
catch a lot of hate for this.
Our goalie's blind as fuck. We're already down 1-0 in the first 4 minutes of this game.
Okay, but
They're
these
losing
games
this series.
Yeah, these games are going to be high scoring, and the Jets have beat the Avs every game this year.
3-0. Well, 4-0 now with the first game of the playoffs,
Mhm.
right?
And Georgiev is going to sell you guys out.
Oh,
Cody,
he's done.
remember last year during the series, I was talking about how he shouldn't be playing, and I got just blasted up one wall and down the other from Avs fans and how I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean,
And then they decided to go into the season with him, and he was the worst save percentage goalie out of the number of attempts. Like,
if Georgie from last season was Georgie this season, we'd still be okay. He's completely fallen off a cliff. That dude is straight blind.
I think he fell off a cliff. I think he fell off a cliff that last playoff series from last year, and it just hasn't got back on the cliff.
I mean, the Kraken games were all close. We had a lot of guys out. I think the best game they scored like 4 goals. Like,
Pinky, I'm gonna give you this. If your goalie lets in some soft goals that should be saved, that's a difference maker. And I'm just gonna stand at that because Georgiev lets in some soft goals.
This guy,
that
wherever
should be
he is
saved
on the screen, this guy gets it.
I mean, it just depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, he's going to sell you guys out, and I hate to say it, but...
Do the Avs get a game, Cody? That's the real question.
I'm going to say the Avs are going to figure out a game. I'm going to say they win game 3. They don't win this game because Jets are at home. They win game 3. But I think Jets in 5.
I would love to be angry about that, but the way the goalie is performing right now, I mean, there were a couple goals in the last game that were glove side, nobody in front of him blocking his view, and still allowed it to go right by him. So, that doesn't inspire a lot from the defensemen ahead of you, and then the offensive guys start pressing to try and make up for and make sure they're putting it in the net to keep up with what the other team's going to do. It's a domino effect that, for pun intended, avalanche of bad things to come.
Yep, and then
Avs are done. It's perfectly fine. They're done. Move along.
Yeah, so out of the West, there's 3 teams that I have valid reasons that they can go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Canucks are one of them.
Okay.
I can argue the Jets. They have everything. They play tough on the puck. They have a good goalie in Hellenbuck. And I can argue Vegas Golden Knights because they just have that championship pedigree. But
let me ask you this before you give us your call. It feels like the Knights are going to have to play maybe 2, even 3, 6, 7 game series if they want to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that is a detriment to them, or with how much experience they have because of how veteran the team is and the fact that they are the defending champs, can they ride that wave and it'll be okay?
Yeah, it all starts with your leadership. And BG, you have your captain back in Mark Stone. People are going to ride that wave. And you need the veteran leadership. You need camaraderie. You just need to grind it out. And I think the Knights can grind it out. But I can argue, like I said, I can argue the Jets and I can argue the Canucks. But I think the Canucks are going to go to the Stanley Cup Final.
Nice. Vancouver going back.
Yeah, Vancouver is going to go back, and their goalie Thatcher Demko, he's going to have his name in there for the Conn Smythe.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So-
Goaltender getting some love.
So yeah, but I see the Canes winning, the Carolina Hurricanes winning this all, and it's going to be Carolina in 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
brutal.
they play hard, they play fast, they can score
See
real
what Cody
fast
did
on
there?
you.
Cody
I
got
did.
you all excited.
He did.
All excited. And he was like,
That is.
Did. Hammered down.
Yeah.
Hammered
They
down.
have a good mix of young guys with vets. This team is well built. I think the Canucks will get there and get a taste of what it is, and then I think they're building something great in Vancouver.
I like it. Man, 7-game Stanley Cup Finals would be epic. I'm there for that.
I'll definitely. I'm going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals once it's there. After the Avs are out, I won't watch any games until the Cup Finals probably, because I'll have all the Nuggets and all that going on.
Sure. I can go with that, and I just want to say the Utah Coyotes or possibly the Utah Hockey Club, they're gonna be on the rise now. Means they finally moved.
Utah Hockey Club, that can't be right.
That's what one of the options are.
There's some real talk. Real talk about that.
That's dumb.
That's
there's actually people, and I heard that at first. I was like, well, that's just a cop out. But then I heard some reasoning behind it, and I actually fell in love with the idea. No. And the reasoning behind it was, this is the third time this franchise has moved and changed names. If you're going to keep relocating, if you're going to keep doing things like this, allow the entity of it to stay whole, and you're just the hockey club wherever you go. I actually personally like it. I like the idea behind it. I got no issues with it.
That is an awful idea.
Here's what I will say.
Multiple levels.
Here's what I will say. They cannot do the Yetis. I will be pissed off because Colorado already has a Bigfoot patch that they wear on their jerseys. And they've been doing it for years. So Utah doesn't just get to buy a team and then all of a sudden commandeer something that another team already promotes within themselves. So if it's the Yetis, I'm going to be a big hater from the jump.
Do they have a Yeti mascot?
They have in the past.
Yeah, there has been in the past. But Pinky, I want to ask you this. Do you know what the original team of the Coyotes are? Do you know, Caleb?
You're doing him dirty, Cody. They're playing right now.
I do not know.
They are the original Winnipeg Jets.
That they are.
Okay. And they decided moving to Phoenix was a great idea.
And then the Jets are the original Atlanta Thrashers. So just a fun fact for you, Pinky.
Yeah,
I do remember the Thrashers.
Atlanta got a team, and they were so unsupported and so terrible that they moved back to Winnipeg. The NHL was like, we don't need to expand. We're just going to go ahead and give a place that actually likes hockey back a team.
Well, let's. I mean, I don't want to take too much time on that. I think it's just, if you do not put a good product out there, you do not win in that new city. You don't build up the rabid fan base.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be the fans that get punished. The ownership should be forced to sell. That's how I feel about those situations.
Good point, Caleb. Point for you, my man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. You don't get to be incompetent and run a business poorly and then be like, well, it's because they weren't supporting us. No. You're trash because of your decision making. You're not moving the franchise. You're just going to go ahead and sell it to somebody to try again. Like, let's be honest here. Oh, and by the way, no more tax dollars to billionaire owners building new stadiums. Pay for your own shit, assholes.
Well, they should always pay for their own shit so they own it all. So then they can build the entertainment district that comes along with it and make all the money. The company that owns SoFi, so Kroenke and I think the Chargers owner owns a part of it. Spanos. They built a separate company. That separate company makes more money than the Rams and the Chargers do.
Yeah, well, that's how you become billionaires. You don't become a billionaire by buying a sports team and then thinking that's going to turn you into a billionaire. That's not how that works. If you're if your liquid cash to pay your expenses is only if you sell the team, then you're not a true billionaire. That's kind of how that works. All right.
So
Cody?
Hurricanes and Canucks in the
Canucks.
Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
Canucks. The old Canucks. Love it. 7 games. Hurricanes. That would be their second. They've
Their
got
second
one,
cup.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they have a cup.
So, all right, cool. I like it. We very well might have to get you to squeeze in just a little bit of time when the finals roll around, and we'll recap and discuss the finals.
And then you'll probably serve me up some crow, you know?
I'm not one that usually serves the crow, sir.
Yeah,
I allow people to just do their thing, but
You went out on a limb,
Cody.
Cody?
Will make sure he brings it out for you.
You went out on a limb. There's no shame in that. No shame.
That's why we love you, Peaky.
He's so much kinder to the guests. I can respect that.
I saved my fuck yous for you, my friend.
That's that entertainment quality.
That's that
Exactly.
right there. So moving over to the other playoffs going on right now in the NBA. I'm not going to run down all of it. What we are going to talk about is 2 games that both happened last night. We'll recap series next week, depending on what's still going on and move into the second round. And we've already given you who we think will win and moving forward for the first round anyways. So we'll see how that plays out. But last night might have been the most epic. Go ahead.
I got a point to add in. I'm stealing this from Rich Eisen.
You
The
steal a
playoffs
lot
started-
from this man.
I
Does he
do.
know you
He-
plagiarize him as much as you do?
I wish I could tell him in person.
You're on that 40 with him, Pinky.
I absolutely would. It wouldn't be good. I'd probably tear something. The playoffs started last night. Is basically what he mentioned. Until now, all the games were blowouts for the most part. The playoffs started last night.
I can understand what he's saying. I don't hate that. I definitely don't hate that. Things got real last night real quick. And it started with New York and Philly in the Garden, the mecca of basketball. That was some Madison Square Garden magic that went down last night right there, because there is no earthly reason up 5 with like 15 seconds left that you lose that game.
30. It was 30.
Well, I'm sorry. It was up 2.
No, they were up 5. They
It
were
was
up 5
up
with
2
30
with
seconds.
15 seconds left, and then chaos ensued. It
Well-
was up 5 with 30 seconds left. Then they hit the 3. So yeah. So here's what went down. 30 seconds left, up 5. New York brings the ball down. Miss.
No, they hit the 3.
No. It was miss. 2 long rebounds, gets bounced out to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson hits the shot.
Hold on. Not just hit the shot. It literally, he had been awful all night. It literally just bounces up perfectly off the rim. It should fall, and then it comes back and goes in.
Yeah, he even looked like it wasn't going in after it hit the rim first. His body language was such that, damn, I missed that. And then it went in, and you watch the whole Garden go nuts. The whole Garden erupts. And then all the Knicks players instantly look like they got locked in. It's one of the wildest things, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, and I've heard some insanely good breakdowns of all of the sequence. And I'm not going to go into as much detail as some of these other people that did. You want a really good breakdown, in all honesty? Go listen to Jason Williams and Tim Legler break it down on Get Up this morning. They had the touch screens out, and they were rewinding and fast forwarding, and they were highlighting. Dude, it was epic the way they broke it down. If you get a chance, go watch Jay Will and Tim Legler break it down.
I saw 3 really bad things on that sequence.
So that's what we'll get to here. So as soon as that shot fell, what I saw out of nowhere was the Knicks all lock in. Like, oh damn, we got this. We're gonna play full court pressure, and they're gonna have to get the ball in. I watched Philly all of a sudden kind of look confused. Like they didn't think it was going in. Now it went in, and they got to resettle. Like it was a weird vibe that all of a sudden instantly hit both teams. Now, Nick Nurse should have called timeout immediately. Like there's zero reason for him to wait on that timeout. You call timeout and you advance the ball and you just get it out. Like there's no reason to wait on the timeout. First of all.
Absolutely.
Second of all, you see a veteran, really good point guard, championship point guard in Kyle Lowry grab the ball and go straight out of bounds to pass it in. As a guy who played that position, you're always taught from a young age all the way up to the pros, like, take your time. Take a second. Don't have your back to the court. Turn around and survey everything real quick before you grab the ball and that 5-second count starts. I'll keep saying it. Philly looked discombobulated when that shot went in. New York looked focused. So then Kyle Lowry goes to throw it into Maxey. Well, let's back up just a moment. As Maxey comes sprinting down the lane towards the ball, I think it was Hart, but he shoved some dude like halfway across the court, okay? So to even start, we got an offensive foul. And then I believe it was Hart tries to recover with Brunson. Maxey somehow gets the ball from Lowry, but it's thrown, again, bad mistake by Lowry, thrown to his dude who's running to the corner on your end of the court. Big no-no, because now the team can just trap you. However, New York didn't trap Maxey. They decided to mug him. And yet, no call was made still. So now we've got an offensive shove-off. Then we've got a double mugging on the guy who just got the ball inbounded to him. All this time, Nick Nurse has been trying to call a timeout, but he's not really looking at any of the refs. He's watching the play happen. That's part of the problem here. So as soon as Lowry gets the ball and goes to inbound, 5 seconds start. We get to about 3 seconds. Nurse is trying to call a timeout. But 4.5 seconds, all of a sudden, Lowry's inbounding the ball. So now Nurse is like watching Maxey with the ball. So he kind of stops his timeout. And then Maxey kind of like falls to the floor. Then he tries to call a timeout again, but he's still not really watching a ref to call, not demonstrative at all, just kind of like watching and like, what? Then Maxey loses the ball. Pinky. Maxey loses the ball, and somehow it bounces around and ends up in DiVincenzo's hands. Oh, by the way, in case you were wondering, yes, the national championship Villanova team is all playing for New York.
Yeah,
just
all
in
of
case
them.
you weren't sure about that. DiVincenzo gets the ball at the top of the arc and buries, nothing but net buries the tray. Now we've got 13 seconds left, and Philly is down 1.
And, well, after 2 free throws from the Knicks, we get...
No, they went down right after that. Maxey drove the lane, had a chance to lay up and go up 1, but got blocked by
Hockenstein or whatever.
Yes. And then free throws went. They had one more chance after that and didn't hit it.
And again, who do they let take the last shot? Which I'm like, why are you letting this guy who's tired shoot the last shot of the game? Horrible.
Dude, here's the deal.
Horrible.
I said, because I believed if Embiid played at least 28 minutes a game, Philly would win the series. But that was because I really didn't think they would allow him to play in the series unless he was actually healthy. The fact that Philly is letting Embiid even on the court right now, and they're risking this first-round matchup win potential on his long-term career and health makes zero sense to me.
And the refs are letting New York play really physical. Really physical. Which is what New York's done.
Though. Philly's doing it too. Philly's getting away with it on both ends. It's
New York is a more physical team.
Yep. Just gonna wear him down. I don't know what Philly's thinking. I really don't. He's obviously not healthy. Obviously not healthy. And I thought it was rust and he was just gonna knock it off, and he was healthy. I didn't think they'd let him. I was wrong. I'm gonna have to eat crow in that series. I don't see any way Philly wins this. because Embiid is not healthy. And in that situation, it feels like he's more of a liability than he is a superstar. And he's still going to get his. He went like, 28, 12, and 6 or something still. It's not like he didn't have good numbers, but it's the way in which he's getting those numbers. He doesn't look explosive. Yeah, New York, stand up. Orange and blue skies. This is looking good for you right now. My bad. Now, to the other side of the brackets, in the Western Conference, there's a phrase that came to mind late last night to me. And it went something like this. Who's your daddy? Thank you, Cody. Dude, the Nuggets, I had to talk Pinky down a little bit last night. I had to remind him of a couple key NBA things. Now, I'll get you. I got you. Don't worry. I had to give him a couple of reminders of how the NBA worked and that the Nuggets are the defending champs and we're okay still. But there might have been a time in the second half early on when Pinky almost was ready to turn the game off. And I had
a rough day. I had a rough day that day.
I know. I had to walk him back a little bit. We'll get to your rough day here in just a moment. And in all of that, Pinky also has this, shall I say, yin to my yang when it comes to the Nuggets. And he has a little bit more of his hateful side that rears its head when we're talking Nuggets.
Let's just say
that doesn't exist with this Broncos side. Okay, doesn't exist with this Broncos side.
Oh,
does exist with his Nuggets side. Okay.
If you talk to my wife, she'll tell you I am super negative when the Broncos are playing. So
yeah. It's not the same though. Not the same. But Pinky has now decided that this is a gift for the Nuggets, not a curse, and it has worked to an extent.
Now, lately, since the Nuggets have been so good, I expect them to play well. And when they don't, it really kind of angers me because I've seen them play really well. Like when you set the bar here and you're playing down here, well, I expect you to play up here. And
that's fair. Fair.
They haven't done that in game 1 or 2.
Now, here's the thing, and I think a lot of Nuggets fans are forgetting this. This is kind of what last year's series looked like. The Nuggets weighed down a little bit, then they'd make a run, and the Lakers couldn't do anything about it. Now, I said we're going to spend a lot of time on the NBA, so I'm going to give you some quick hit reasons why I believe things went down the way they went down. First, the Lakers cannot keep up with the Nuggets when they want to run the ball.
Cody, did you see the game at all? Or the highlights?
I saw the very last shot.
Okay.
We're going to get there.
That's the best highlight, but
the Lakers cannot keep up with the Nuggets when they run the ball. And the Nuggets put pressure on the Lakers all night. Now, they didn't run the fast break, the full court pressure, things of that nature off of rebounds and push the ball as much in the first half. They just kind of just did their thing, and they weren't shooting well. The first half, it was 58% for the Lakers, I believe, to 37% for the Nuggets. That was the shooting percentages at the end of the first half, okay?
Ugly.
So Lakers were hitting about anything they wanted, and the Nuggets couldn't hit anything to begin with. It was bad. And they were only down 10 or 12 at half.
15.
It was 15 and a half? Okay, 15
and a half.
Either way, they were down, but it never, to me, never felt terrible because those things don't usually persist for an entire game in the NBA. That's very rare. They usually will find themselves back to the middle with two good teams. That's first. Second, everybody wants to talk about how the Lakers got away from the LeBron James, Anthony Davis pick and roll last night in the second half. And a lot of people were getting on LeBron for it and not forcing that more in the second half. I'm kind of surprised nobody saw it the way I was seeing it, because what I saw was the Nuggets switching a lot in the first half on that pick and roll, and in the second half deciding they were going to fight over the screen. and they
Right.
didn't switch Anthony Davis. They allowed those two guys. If LeBron was going to drive or get an open shot, they were okay with that. But Anthony Davis wasn't going to kill you. So they weren't switching anymore on that pick and roll. And that, I believe, is what forced the Lakers to get away from it because it was no longer working for them.
And they switched Aaron Gordon over to Anthony Davis as well.
Yes. So that's number 2. Okay. We've got Nuggets running. Lakers actually not the cause. Nuggets doing a great adjustment at halftime in the second half to force the Lakers to do something else. The third thing I believe that was a huge factor in all of this was simply the fact that the second half, Nikola Jokic said, "Oh, by the way, just in case you were wondering, you're not a great defensive team. I am the best player in the world. And if you're not going to double team me, I will own you." And he went down to the block and he went big boy basketball and put on work and put on a masterclass display of footwork a la Hakeem Olajuwon on that low block. Now, I understand what the Lakers are saying. Look, if we double him, he's going to kick it out to these guys. They're going to hit wide open shots. They're not going to miss it all night.
During the Nuggets run, they were doubling him. And it was like, why are you doubling him when you're up 20? Like, there's no reason to do that.
And that's because, but I'm telling you why they decided probably to keep with that, because the idea is we would rather him beat us than these guys continue to hit these open shots. So down the stretch, they single coveraged him. Probably the last 8 minutes of the game, almost the entire fourth quarter. And he made him pay. Made him pay big. So quick synopsis, that's what I think were the 3 keys to the game and what caused the Lakers to end up not being able to hold on.
Defense,
they had no
baby.
legs at the end of the game. Okay?
Defense. Nuggets held them scoreless on 10 straight possessions. The Lakers did not score for 5 minutes.
Yep. Huge. Huge.
And you made a great point, Caleb. The Lakers spent so much time in that first half hustling. Their defense was sticky. Like there were some open looks that we finally got when we moved the ball around, but we weren't hitting them. But they were running so hard on defense in that first half. That second half, they had no legs. They were done. And again, I think for me, not getting Anthony Davis was literally on fire at one point in the game. It was like no matter what he did,
he had
he
like
just threw the
24
ball
points on like 11 of 13 shooting in the first half.
He did not score in the fourth quarter.
Yep. He ended with
LeBron
32
scored.
or 34 or something like that.
I feel like LeBron did the I'm going to score, but he didn't get Anthony Davis involved in the game. And that's what really did it.
I didn't see it as a LeBron issue or even necessarily a Lakers issue. Now, Anthony Davis and LeBron could have forced it a little bit more, but
Anthony
that
Davis has one shot.
The offense.
Anthony Davis had one shot in the fourth quarter that shouldn't happen.
A 3 from the corner that he missed.
No, it was he drove in and he had Joker or Aaron Gordon on him, and Aaron Gordon forced him to do like that 15-footer, but he wasn't clean and he missed it. That's the only shot he took in the fourth quarter.
And he had 2 shots in the fourth quarter, but
only one. I watched Get Up. I watched Shannon Sharp. I watched all of them. He only took 1 shot in the fourth quarter. They all talked about it. He was 0 for 1 in the fourth quarter. Didn't score any points.
He missed that 3 in the corner in the second half. Then
let's finish up real quick with the ending. Well, Nuggets score on 8 of the last 9 possessions they took. That, like, how do you, like, if you do not stop them, they're just going to keep scoring on you. And the play of the game, everybody's going to talk about Jamal Murray's shot. But the play of the game is Joker throwing up a 3 because he got fouled. No call. Aaron Gordon somehow saves the ball, tiptoes on the baseline with Austin Reeves on him, and throws it to Michael Porter, who hits the game-tying 3. That was the play of the game. Jamal's shot is awesome. It's the tie ball game. He wins it. But that effort on that play is what won that game.
I mean, again, that was just what the Nuggets did the entire second half. They just wore the Lakers down. The Lakers didn't have any legs left by the time the fourth quarter came to an end.
I don't know if you watched it. I watched Austin Reeves chase Jamal Murray around all night, and I was like, "Oh, that poor kid!" Like he was running around him all night long. I know he felt like shit today. Like he if they had a game today, he'd be done. If it was a back-to-back scenario, they'd all be done.
It would be tough. It would be really tough. Now, go back to LA. It's not like these games have been absolute blowouts. Lakers had a 12-point lead at one point in game one. They had a 20-point lead. It's been well documented over the last, almost 24 hours now, and blew that in the second half. So,
but what's funny about that, Caleb? The Lakers played the best they can play, and they still lost. Yeah. And the Nuggets have not played their best basketball yet.
Right. And again, very reminiscent to last year's Western Conference Finals. Very similar.
And we're
home. The Nuggets swept that series, and I said they would sweep this series in the same manner. I didn't, by no means did anybody think they were just going to blow the Lakers out. The Lakers are not a bad team. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are superstars. D'Angelo Russell can play. Austin Reeves is a nice piece. So let's keep in mind that this is a good damn team. Nuggets are on a different level right now, and the rest of the NBA is starting to be reminded of that again. Last thing I'll say, and we're not going to discuss this right now. We're not going to have a conversation about it, but I've said it before. We've gotten laughed at. People don't want to listen. They're going to have to start now because national media is starting to talk about it. Nikola Jokic very well might be the most talented big man to ever play the game. So keep that in mind as you're watching these playoffs, and remember that he's probably going to be the MVP, and he is last year's finals MVP, and the run he went on and what he did was epic. Oh, by the way, for anybody saying Jamal Murray isn't a top guard in the NBA, we told you he doesn't give a shit about the regular season. He will do what needs to be done to make sure they win. He's saving, he's resting, things of that nature. When the playoffs show up, Jamal Murray, Blue Arrow is different, and he is big time.
Fun fact for Robert and Cody, Jamal Murray has the largest increase of scoring between regular season and playoffs of any player in history.
Damn.
It's almost 10
points. That's called showing up for the playoffs, showing up when it matters.
Not really.
No.
Do you play the best when the lights are the brightest? I damn do.
Mm-hmm.
And he has not played well the last two games. He has not shot well.
He didn't shoot well for 3 quarters last game.
Last night, he took over the fourth quarter.
14
On the fourth
points,
quarter,
game
took
winner.
over.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever else you do before that.
But if he was hit, and a lot of his shots rimmed out, the announcers on the thing were like, wow, like all these shots are rimming out. If he hits a couple of those, it's a different ballgame. Last thing before we move on, 2 things actually, real quick. One, Joker, as you're talking about, literally there's 8 times ever a guy has put up 25, 20, and 10. That's happened 8 times. Joker's done it 4.
Wilt and Kareem combined for 3.
And there was one guy that did it once. So that's one. So that backs up that statement that you're making, Caleb, that he could be the best all-around big man of all time. 2, he's amazing. He's funny as hell. That Gru commercial, him coming out with the Gru outfit, game 1, awesome. How can you not love that guy? And then, again, I'm seeing all these people on Twitter. They talk about his stuff. Just watch his game. He is literally unstoppable. It's not flashy. He's not going in and dunking on dudes. He's not spraying 7 threes.
Flashy. That's the problem, Pinky. That's what gets me so angry. It is flashy.
It's
just not above the rim. That dude is making passes and court vision and doing things. His footwork should be, your jaw should be dropping at some of the things.
His game reminds me of me. Slow, big, could do the hook shot, unstoppable down in the paint. I just couldn't run very long. I love it. He's athletic. His athleticism is being able to play almost the whole damn game and not get tired. That's
He's
his athleticism.
underrated athletic. You don't do that footwork if you're not athletic. Like, you just don't. And people don't want to give him credit for that, and it blows my mind. But there is one big man in today's game that can move like that.
All right.
Joel Embiid is close, but he's not on the same level.
So I still think Embiid is probably like what you would say, like, again, could you say Embiid's a better scorer from anywhere on the court? Like, I think you could make the argument, but at the end of the day, Embiid gets his. He doesn't make everybody around him better. Joker last night, even during the game, you will see, if you watch that game closely, there were moments in that game where Joker wanted to keep facilitating to his teammates versus just scoring, which he could score anytime.
Jamal, you want to know what kind of teammate Jokic is? Watch the last 5 seconds of that game. Murray's bringing the ball up, and Jokic isn't calling for it. He's not setting up to get it. He is waving Mike Malone off for the timeout, and he is telling all his teammates to get out of the way so Jamal can go to work. And then he went to the high arc, and he set a screen. That's who he is. That's the kind of guy you get when he's on your team. That's all you need to know. Watch that sequence. The dude dominated the Lakers. Dominated them. No reason he shouldn't get the last shot. And what did he do? He went, get the hell out of the way. My boy's coming through. Go to work. Crazy.
The picture of Jamal is iconic. And what's even better, if you watch it, I watched it multiple times. Jamal hit it. Everybody goes wild. AD falls down in the bench. He's getting mobbed by dudes. And it's like, AD, get out of there, bro. Get out of there.
KCP came and was holding the Nuggets, and AD, he kind of interjected himself right in between to try and save AD. Cool move by KCP, former teammates, friends. So I liked it. All right, Pinky, pull it up. Let's go. Let's get ready.
I just want to add the Battle of Florida is going into overtime in Game 2. It's all tied up 2-2 going into OT.
I'd like to see that series go 7.
I just did my over-the-top hat switch. Let's go. Anybody that gets that reference, we can be friends.
We got it. We got it, baby. All right.
I don't think Robert did. I don't think Robert.
Robert, you know, over the top.
I don't think Cody got it either, Pinky. I think you're the only one that caught on to that guy.
Over the top?
You are the only one that caught that.
The Sylvester Stallone movie?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just like,
yep.
Okay.
I'm not a big movie buff. You could say I live under a rock. Okay.
Hey, I don't think a lot of people watch.
Cody, did you grow up watching Bloodsport or Lionheart?
I see bits and pieces of Bloodsport.
Oh,
I said,
All right.
I am not a movie buff. You're probably gonna have to give me some homework, okay?
Cody, homework right now. Jot this down, my guy. I need you to watch 2 Jean-Claude Van Damme movies before. Oh, you're gonna give him the third one? You're gonna go 3.
You gotta watch Kickboxer.
I was just gonna give him Lionheart and Bloodsport.
Kickboxer.
All right, we can go Kickboxer too. I'm not gonna hate on that. Those are 80s iconic Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, all the like action. Okay, B-roll glory. Okay,
they're so bad they're good.
So bad they're good. After you watch those, then I'm gonna need you to go check out Over the Top, Sylvester Stallone.
Over, same thing. So bad it's good.
So bad it's good. Oh, so bad. And then Cody, you will, once you watch that, you will then give yourself a little chuckle at my hat switch.
Once you watch that, you'll go start doing some curls and be like, yeah I could get in there and do that.
Oh yeah. Start setting up the press in your car. Oh yeah, you'll do that. Pinky, you appreciate it. That was a solid reference though, right?
Absolutely, baby. Absolutely. I grew up in the 80s, man. I'm all over it. My dad used to get the tapes and he would record them onto VHSs. He put about 3 movies on a tape. Yep. And like I kind of judged my dad by the 3 movies he put on. and most of his mixes were solid. My dad had it down. Like, he would put down
we got
great stuff.
I understand you. I feel you. We got VHSs that got worn out that we couldn't even recover because they got watched so many times and rewound. So I'm with you. I got you. Cody looks confused right now.
Oh, I grew up.
Cody's like, "What's a
I grew up
VHS, bro?"
Same way. I grew up the same way.
I know
My
you did.
parents had all the
Robert.
VHSs.
I had a VHS. Don't even, Pinky.
A VHS?
Don't
A
even.
VHS.
I'm not that young.
It goes in a
Screw you.
VCR.
You've heard of a cassette tape? It's like a big version
Yes,
of that.
yes.
And then you had to
Film.
rewind it. It was
You know,
a pain in the
it's
ass.
called-
You had those
It's
automatic
called a
rewinders.
film because it actually used to be recorded
Yes,
on
and then I'd
Okay.
rip it out because I was bored. I know. I'm aware.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Young.
it's that time. It's that time. The hat switch has commenced. We're moving into big conversations. We're moving into the highlight of the evening.
All right.
We're moving into the big dog of the week, the NFL draft.
Give us the ground rules, Caleb.
Here's the ground rules, ladies and gentlemen. Pink and I have been doing this for a number of years. Those that do it with us have learned. These are how it goes down. First off, we don't give a shit about what a team is going to do. Okay? So don't come at us talking about that's not what they're doing. We don't care. We're going to give you a draft on what we believe they should do. We're going to give you the pick of what we believe is going to make them better, what we believe is going to improve them. Okay? Not what they think they're going to do. We're not trying to predict the picks. We're trying to give you what the picks should be. Second, we don't give a shit about potential trades. We're not going through those scenarios, and we're not going to break down the compensation. We're going to give you the picks as they see fit, right in front of us, as they stand now, 1 through 32. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about trades. That doesn't mean we're not going to tell you where we believe things will happen or where things should move towards or from. Okay, we will. We'll let you know. We're just not going to make picks saying, oh, the Vikings are trading up to 4 and they're going to draft and they're trading this and this to get it. We're not going through that whole scenario. With that being said, really the third big final rule is that we do our own thing. And we're good with it because we're going to give you reasons why. We're going to back up with insight why we believe this should happen. Pinky, am I missing anything?
I think you are about spot on, my friend. I'm trying a different site real quick. I've almost got it. I want to see if this is a little bit better. The other one had a lot of ads on it. There's about 3 or 4 of them. I think this one will work. There we go. All right. Hold on. Let me present again, and we will be ready to rock and roll. Please, when you make your pick, go ahead and give a pretty good synopsis of why you think this is a good fit for the team. And if you do think the team might be interested in trading, it's okay to talk about that too. That's not an issue. All right. How's that look, fellas? Does that look good?
Looks good.
Looks good to me.
All right. All right. So we've got everybody's got their picks. Caleb, my friend, my compadre, maybe my less smarter brother. You've got number 1.
Okay. All right. We're going to go there. All right. Appreciate you. Look, I could throw a wrench into this kind of like what I did last year and do a move that I believe should happen. But I don't quite feel one way or the other when it comes to these two guys. And I think Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels are both going to be studs. I truly do. I think Caleb Williams is getting shit on for a lot of ridiculous things that mean absolutely nothing, and people are taking it completely out of context and running with it and letting the minions run wild.
Is he not Bo Callahan right now?
Yeah, absolutely, Bo Callahan. Yep. Pinky just watched Draft Day. Solid reference. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Yeah, absolutely. I've yet to hear a whole lot of his actual teammates, though, that played on the field with him at USC talk ill of the guy. I've seen some guys that didn't get a lot of playing time say some things, help clean out his locker. But the guys that mattered seem to have some really good things to say about him. I think nonsense that's been said about him wanting a stake in ownership and his dad's too much, this, that, and the other, don't matter. Whether they're true or not. I think the dude can win over the locker room, and I think he can be his own individual, unique person in today's modern NFL, and I don't think that's an issue. Bears go with Caleb Williams, and they're extremely happy about it. Caleb Williams, though, may not be. I will say this, though. Chicago has finally gotten their shit together, and you're the first quarterback that can truly be a franchise guy and win in Chicago. You will be legend.
So let's be honest. He's got two things going for him. A, Chicago's never had a 4,000-yard passer. You could make an argument Sid Luckman or Jay Cutler's their best quarterback of all time. There's an argument to be made. Two, has any number one pick come into a team that has a pretty good defense, two great wide receivers, tight end, offensive line's not horrible. It's not great. It's not horrible. Ever. Number one picks do not have the amount of support that this kid has right now. And he does stuff that not many guys can do.
Well, that's a great point, Pinky, because here's the deal. One, he's coming into a fabulous situation as far as the talent around him. I don't know how I feel about the front office, and I don't trust the coaching staff at all. Mm-hmm. But the players on the field are going to be really good. So he's got that going for him. And two, not only does he have that going for him, but he's, by a lot of people's standards, one of the highest top 5 rated prospects in the history of the sport, right? Like, this is John Elway, Andrew Luck type coming out by all accounts.
Absolutely.
Now, last year it was more so than this year. For whatever reason, people wanted to take this last year and just try to find ways to beat this kid down and poke holes in his game that didn't. I mean, to talk about this last year like it was a down year for him when his numbers were actually on par or slightly better than his Heisman year, only because the team didn't perform as well when the team around him wasn't nearly as good as it was before. Like, these are the things you're going to hear a lot about these draft picks as we move forward, that you've got to find a way to read through the weeds, because people are just going to try to throw out a bunch of BS to knock these kids down for no reason. A, because they're trying to get them to fall so they can draft them, or B, which is the more likely scenario, unfortunately, the majority of NFL draft evaluators, scouts, are just trash. And the fact that there's more fans out there that want to bash us as a podcast for having our own opinions because we're not national media, like the national media and these front offices have been getting it right 100% of the time and haven't been ruining themselves, is laughable. So keep that in mind as we start talking prospects and go through this. Caleb Williams, welcome to Chicago.
All right, Robert, you're on the clock with the Washington Commanders.
All right, so I really have been struggling with this pick because I've been stuck between Drake May and Jaden Daniels on this for a minute. I think Jaden Daniels can fit really in any offense with what he was really putting out number-wise. His rushing ability is great. However, I think with the new ownership that the Commanders are under, I think they're looking to do away with that, maybe look at something more of kind of a reset and see what May could possibly do with that instead of having kind of a more established, ready Jaden Daniels. So I actually am going to put Drake May with the Commanders in this situation.
Drake May. Now, I think there's a couple. Drake May is literally like if you put. I almost feel like if you put a quarterback, if you wanted to build a quarterback in a lab, Drake May is like how you would build him. Size, arm, all of that. There's just a lot of inconsistencies, and he hasn't had a lot of talent around him. This last year, his talent around him was not good this last year. So I feel like there's some kind of like you just don't know. But if you just look at the physical tools, that dude could be stellar. So don't hate that at all. Commanders, I mean, they have to take a quarterback here because they just, they need one.
If it's not May, it's Daniels. Period.
All right. Well, Cody, I believe you are up, my man.
Well, if I'm the New England Patriots and Drake May goes off the board, I am jumping for joy and I'm sprinting to that podium and drafting Jaden Daniels.
Well, that was easy.
I mean, I've been really high on Daniels since
But
he's at ASU. So,
but
yeah.
this is where I do start seeing a trade happen. Is I do think the Patriots are gonna trade down and gain assets for the new coach Gerard Mayo, and that's where I see things starting to happen.
I fully agree, Cody. I think people are talking about the draft starting at 4. I think New England moves 3. I agree.
I'm not sure if they move 3 though. I'm not sure. I feel like the offer to not draft Daniels or May, the offer's got to be like really, really good. But if they're saying they're open for business, that also means they don't love either guy. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be open for business if they loved either guy.
Yep. I see New York Giants moving up right at that spot is my particular guess in that situation. But yeah, I think New England moves.
My guess is the Minnesota Vikings come up to 3.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if this goes down like this and Minnesota moves up to 3, I think Daniels is the one that falls because I truly believe Minnesota, if they move up, it's because they love JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
So look, things could get real wild real quick, which I believe this is going to be one of the most chaotic, insane drafts we've seen maybe ever. So 3 starting it off would be epic and awesome.
So there was a report today. New England has not gotten any offers they find at least entertainable at this point. And then for Arizona at pick 4, the word on the street is they've had 4 teams call them that they're interested in, but they're not willing to even make those conversations until they're on the clock.
Which is what you should do, which is why it doesn't surprise me that New England hasn't had a good offer. Because unless it's the first overall pick, why would you trade before you're on the clock, technically speaking, for that spot? Because you don't know if the guy you love is going to be there. So there's no reason to make the move until the clock starts. Because if you make this trade, like let's say you're New England and it's the Giants, and the Giants actually do want Jaden Daniels. Well, they're not going to trade right now because by all reports, Jaden Daniels is probably going 2. But if he falls and they want Jaden Daniels, now he's at 3 and New England's open for business, that offer is going to be good. You know what I mean? There's no reason to give a good offer right now because you don't know truly what you're trading for.
These 3, 4, and 5 are all positions that I believe could be traded for the right price.
How epic would it be if all 3 of them moved?
I mean,
how epic would that be?
That'd be crazy. So Arizona
on the clock at 4 with Arizona. Where are we moving to?
I think Arizona really wants to trade.
Yeah,
I think they really do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've made any. They just really haven't even hit that they want to trade. So I think Minnesota, Denver. There's some notion that Oakland wants to come in too, but
Oakland, New York.
I think from the rumors that are out there, Oakland wants Daniels. If they can't get Daniels, they're happy with Penix. So if Daniels is off the board, I don't see Oakland trading up to 4. Cody's probably right. Minnesota would trade up to 4 to grab McCarthy. Is probably what would happen. Now, since there's no trades in this, it's pretty much a done deal. The Cardinals are going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Which, let's be honest, if they stayed at 4 and took him and paired him with Kyler, I wouldn't be mad if I was a Cardinals fan.
I mean, the Cardinals right now do not have a wide receiver.
No, I mean Hollywood left, right? So
Hollywood's in Kansas City.
They're wide receiver 1 right now is Michael Wilson.
Right. But
who's not horrible, but he's not a number 1.
He could be a solid 2, better maybe as a 3, but they do have a great young tight end in McBride. You got Kyler. You've got a serviceable running game with the new offensive coordinator, the way they started playing in the second half when Kyler came back. A lot more running of the ball scheme-wise. The defense was playing kind of solid. Arizona is not going to be a contender next year, but they could be a thorn in a lot of people's sides. If you add a piece like Marvin Harrison right now, that could be a scary offense. So just saying, it wouldn't be crazy if they stayed, but I think we all believe they're moving.
How quickly would they escalate if they take Minnesota's 11-23 and they have 27?
Depends on how you use those picks. You know,
pretty damn good players at all 3 of those times.
You should. Right? You should be able to build up real nice with that. And that's, again, the what we believe they're all going to do and makes the most sense for them. But, again, if they kind of shocked the world and stayed at 4 and took Marvin Harrison, I wouldn't be mad at them at all.
No,
I'd say
you don't hate that at all.
That's a quote-unquote, by a lot of people's standards, future Hall of Famer instantly on the field.
Right.
So,
all right, Caleb, you're on the clock again. You got the Chargers.
So I don't see any other way around this. And if I'm the Chargers personally, I'm not moving this pick. And I'm taking what many consider to be a generational tackle, and I'm grabbing Alt, and I'm going to be ecstatic about it.
And the way Harbaugh likes to play football, he likes to run the football.
That's right. That's right. And you already have an insanely gifted quarterback. You've got a couple of really good running backs if they can stay healthy, and Gus Edwards and Dobbins. And there's a good chance that they might end up with Blake Corum as well in that backfield. Okay.
And they have Rashawn Slater at left tackle. They put Joe Alt at right tackle.
Yep.
Now Herbert's got all day to throw the ball. He didn't have any receivers to throw the ball to yet.
That's not entirely true, though. I know a lot of people are talking about the receivers, but they did get Quentin Johnston last year, who is Pinky, you do this all the time, and you don't give these players any. He's talented.
He was pretty awful last year.
The whole team was pretty awful last year. Like, he showed some great flashes. It was just a shit team with a shit head coach. He was also the third wide receiver, not getting a lot of looks on a regular basis. That moves up now. So they've got Josh Palmer, who's talented. They can do things very similar to what the Chiefs did when it comes to their wide receiving core, especially if they run the ball the way John Harbaugh wants to, with Herbert playing quarterback. So do not sleep on the Chargers turning it around quite a bit next year if they get this draft right. Now, they're going to need the defense to stay healthy still, and not Charger, obviously. But Harbaugh is the perfect guy to change that narrative. He truly is. That's what he does. The guy goes in and changes narratives of situations. So I think you get a Joe Alt, you're ecstatic, and that offensive line instantly is able to start protecting Justin Herbert, which makes that offense way more dangerous.
All right, Robert, you're up with the New York Giants.
So this one I felt like was a pretty easy no-brainer. Malik Neighbors is going to go with the Giants there. They definitely need some help. Daniel Jones desperately needs a number 1 receiver. So there's just no point in contending or questioning or explaining that. That's just a no-brain. That's just right there.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely.
Amazing. All right.
Cody, what are the Titans doing?
Yeah, the Titans are really are angry at the Chargers for taking Joe Alt because that was their master plan. So if I'm the Titans, I'm gonna go get another weapon for my quarterback, and I'm gonna take the best pass catching tight end on the board, and I'm gonna take Brock Bowers out of Georgia.
I don't hate that at all. Here's the other reason why that's scary good. You run some 12 personnel with him and Okonkwo. I can never say his name right, so I apologize. You run both of them on the field at the same time with Hopkins and
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, dude. scary weapons for Will Levis if it goes down like that.
I don't think that's a bad pick at any point. I still think the next 2 or 3 tackles are still pretty damn good that they'd still be happy with.
I could totally see the next tackle going off the board and they'd be ecstatic as well. But damn, I can't be mad. Brock Bowers is a complete tight end, right? I mean, the dude blocks and receives. He's old school, hardcore, badass.
He's pretty awesome. He is pretty awesome. So
I like that pick, Cody. And the New York Jets are pissed right now.
So Atlanta's on the clock, and there's rumors Atlanta likes Penix, which doesn't make sense to me because you did give Kirk Cousins a 3-year deal, most of it guaranteed.
Right.
So, like, having a rookie quarterback sit for 3 years before you play him, when you can just make your team better. And so Atlanta, and we do this every year. Eventually, we're going to be right. One of these years, we're going to be right. We mock a pass rusher to Atlanta. Eventually, we're going to be right. Atlanta has nothing. They haven't had a pass rusher have more than 10 sacks since Vic Beasley. Come on down, Dallas Turner. You are
kind of
Atlanta
surprised
Falcon.
that that's what the pass rusher you went with.
Same. I'm shocked.
You know, Alabama pass rushers usually turn out pretty good. So
I can
I'm just
agree
going
with
with the
that
track
one.
record there. There's only 3 guys.
Who would
Right
you,
now.
if it wasn't Turner, who would it be?
It'd be Jared Verse,
Okay.
in my opinion.
We're on the same page then. I would have gone Verse over Turner, but
Look, the best pass rusher is Latu. Hands
yeah,
down.
but that medical is scary, dude.
But I want no part of dudes with neck issues. None.
Nope. We know how I feel about neck issues, right, Pinky?
Yeah, they're no good. Neck issues and back issues. Like, they don't go away.
Dude is crazy good. Crazy good. I would have to see the medicals. And if they, if they come back and it's a Peyton Manning situation, it's a Michael Porter Jr. situation. Funny that those are both local teams. I get it, but they're 2 of the bigger deals when it comes to neck back injuries. A lot of teams didn't want to end on the Peyton Manning sweepstakes because they didn't think he could come back from that surgery. So there were only a handful of teams, which is why Peyton kind of handpicked what he wanted. Michael Porter Jr.'s back issues, he went 13th, I think, in the draft because nobody ahead of him trusted the medicals that they saw. And the Nuggets said, actually, we got these medicals that we do trust. We're willing to go this risk. There's been some others in history. Those are just 2 of the more recent ones. So Latu is in that category where it's like, dude, you better truly believe in your medical staff when you look at that if they give you the okay. Because talent-wise, and probably the best pass rusher in the draft.
And I do think Atlanta is in a position right here. Like, if JJ's still on the board, Minnesota or Denver's probably trading up to 8. Like, Atlanta would get out of 8. They'd still get Turner. They'd still get Verse. It's a win-win for them.
I agree. They can move back just a couple spots and be fine there. I totally agree. If it plays out in a situation where one of these, I think if any of the top 4 quarterbacks fell, Atlanta would be trading back if it got to that point.
And I think Tennessee would too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Something else I wanted to say though, real quick. You brought up Penix to Atlanta. Dan Graziano this morning on Get Up actually said he's hearing, and he knows everybody lies, but he believes that there's enough of this now that he can believe it's true. Penix isn't making it past like pick 16, 17. He's going by the middle of the first round is what Graziano's hearing, and he believes it's true. So I've been saying, Pinky, and you've kind of been on this with me here. One of the few things we kind of agree about. If Penix didn't have 4 years of injuries in Indiana, he's one of the top 3 or 4 guys in this draft, talent-wise. The only reason he's not up there is because everybody's scared off by the medicals right now. If a team out there says his medicals are good, they're not worried about it, that dude's arguably just as talented as any other quarterback in the draft when it comes to throwing the ball. Like,
there are a couple guys who have Penix rated over Caleb Williams.
I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, that wouldn't necessarily surprise
That
me.
doesn't surprise me.
The dude might be the best pure thrower of the football in this draft. Like, his arm is crazy good. So him going early wouldn't surprise me at all. At all.
Well, Caleb, you get Chicago again at 9.
So scroll down a little bit here for me, Pinky, because I think I might surprise some people. But again, this is what we think they should do, not what we believe they're going to do.
Right.
Just a touch more for me, if you would.
Right now, they would take Roma Dunze and move along.
Yep. But there is a player sitting right there at 16 who I believe Chicago finally needs to spend some quality investment in, which they did last year. But if you're going to take Caleb Williams, you already have weapons that Pinky has talked about. It's already been discussed. They spent a lot of capital on the defense over the last couple of years in the draft. How about you don't make the same mistake you continuously done, and which a lot of NFL teams do for some reason, and you don't protect your franchise quarterback? So give me Fashanu. I can feel like I never say it right. Fashanu. Give me a big boy who can help in the run game, who can help protect my quarterback, and make sure he can actually get the ball to the weapons that we signed.
And what's the fun fact about Fashanu?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
He played high school football with Caleb Williams.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you. Yes, I totally forgot about that. Yep.
That's cool.
So I think that would be the smart decision, but the Bears aren't necessarily known for that. So they probably will go Rome
if you take a Dunze at 9, you've got him and Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry, DJ Moore. Keenan Allen's contract is expiring. He's a free agent. You let him go. And now you've got a Dunze and DJ Moore. So that sounds awesome. So you can't go wrong. Although, take Fashanu now, you protect him. You can still draft a wide receiver later. You can still draft a wide receiver next year. So,
a lot easier to get generational talent at a wide receiver position than it is in an offensive line.
If you give Caleb Williams time to throw the ball, it's going to be pretty awesome. So, I like it.
So, Chicago, hey, if you don't like this, sorry, it's not the sexy pick, but this puts you in positions to actually win, not give you highlight reels on top 10.
Robert, you get the New York Football Jets.
Yay. No, honestly, actually, I've been really looking forward to this pick because I had 3. I really like Brock Bowers, but I know, Pinky already got that one out of the way, so we're fine there. But like you mentioned, I was concerned with Latu's medical as well, just doing some of the research I was doing last week, because I think he'd honestly be a great fit for the Jets, just to provide some good defensive options for them. However, with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I actually am going to pivot towards Fuaga being picked up to give him some extra protection on the O-line. I think it's a solid move. It's going to give them a lot of foundational support to build.
Look at that, Robert. They even suggest Fuaga.
Oh, well, hey. I personally thought, it'd be Latu that get picked up. I in my heart, that's what I believe if he's on the board for the Jets at the time.
So let me educate you a little bit, Robert.
All right.
One thing the Jets don't need at this point is defense and pass rusher.
Okay.
They've got Jermaine Johnson on the outside.
That's
they
right.
just got Hassan Reddick on the outside. And they have Quinnen Williams on the inside. The one thing they don't need is pass rusher.
Fair enough.
O-line, protecting that old-ass quarterback that we love, Aaron Rodgers, is priority number 1 when you have 2 30-year-old tackles. This is a great pick for them.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick. Because they literally, Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, are they going to make it a full season? We don't know.
Yo, let's be honest. If they do, though, and they take this pick, Aaron Rodgers is going to light people up.
Yeah. I mean, if you protect Aaron Rodgers.
Paul and Garrett Wilson and the boy, oh, dude, forget about it.
Protect
Mhm.
Garrett Wilson. Protect Aaron Rodgers. Good things happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cody, 11 with the Minnesota Vikings.
And if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I am jumping for joy because I finally get a quarterback, even though I am on the Sam Darnold trade along with my boy Caleb. But the Minnesota Vikings are going to take JJ McCarthy.
I shouldn't say love. I like McCarthy a lot now. And Pinky knows I've kind of come a 180 on that.
He has. Really has.
Never talked trash, never thought he was terrible, but just wasn't seeing the hype that Jim Harbaugh was talking about. Went back, did my research, and decided I was wrong, and I was ahead of the giant hype train that has propelled him into the first round and possible top 5 picks. So I'm happy about that. I'm not just following a bandwagon. I do believe there's something special about this kid. And he's 21.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing that really gets me is when you can do the things you're doing and you still have that much room to grow. Whereas you look at a Penix, a Knicks, they're 24, 25. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then you got a guy like Jim Harbaugh saying he's the best quarterback in the draft. He should go number 1. It gives you pause, but it perks up your ears. And if you're smart, it should force you to then go do some research and evaluate yourself. After I did that, I came away thinking J.J. McCarthy could be the most talented quarterback in this draft. Just wasn't asked to do a whole lot. And what really drew me to changing my mind about him is the fact that if he's that talented and you believe he's that talented and he wasn't asked to do that much and he was okay with not doing that much for the sole purpose of winning, dude, that's a special, special player right there. Because they will do anything needed to win. And when you get that kind of player on your team that has that talent potential, that's hard to stop. So big fan of JJ McCarthy. I do believe, though, if he goes to Minnesota, like everybody's saying, I could see a scenario where actually Darnold plays this year and plays lights out really well, but McCarthy is the starter next year and hits the ground running where Darnold left off. Darnold's never had a good coach or talented weapons around him, and he's going to have that this year. Now, he had that last year, but Brock Purdy was already the incumbent, and obviously after what Brock Purdy did, we see why there was no reason for Darnold to even get a chance to play or show what his talent was. It's different, though, in Minnesota. If that quarterback competition is even close, I would see McCarthy starting. But I think Darnold's got potential here to put himself in conversation to finally be a starter again. But there's so many balls in the air because you could see McCarthy starting from day 1 and Darnold just being a backup again. So, but Minnesota's talented, and they get McCarthy here. Golly, that'd be crazy.
All right. I'm on the clock with the Broncos. I don't believe the board is going to fall this way. The way the board is going to fall, Odunze is going to be gone. And there's 4 defensive players here that I believe teams behind the Broncos are going to covet and want to get up. I believe the Broncos are trading this pick. 19 to the Rams, 20 to the Steelers, 22 to the Eagles. They're trading this pick.
I could actually see this being somewhere where somebody surprise jumps up and grabs Penix. Raiders, maybe.
Could be. Someone's scared
Just
of Raiders.
a couple spots.
Somebody's scared of the Raiders getting Penix, so they jump ahead of them. Fine. I do think the board falls this way. The Broncos would trade out. But if Odunze is on the board, he's coming to Denver. Like they
hard
need
to pass that.
They need offensive playmakers, and they need defense too. The Broncos need a lot of whatever the Broncos pick is probably good because they need everything. So Odunze is just a guy that he's going to be a number 1. We need that. Come on down, baby.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Caleb, you were up with the Raiders. I think he's going to take a quick break.
Well, that's unfortunate because this isn't going to take very long. Michael Penix, come on down. You're now a Las Vegas Raider because here's the deal. I do believe he is arguably the most talented quarterback in this draft when it comes to throwing the ball. I do believe he is drastically underrated athletically when it comes to being able to move outside the pocket. And I do believe if it wasn't for 4 years of really brutal injuries at Indiana, he'd be a top 5 pick. And I think people are starting to come to terms with that. I do believe the Raiders love Daniels. I also believe, though, that they sneaky like Penix, and he fits in that Vegas team. And you give a quarterback that can throw the ball like that to a receiver like Devontae Adams and some of the other weapons they have, slightly underrated O-line, defense could use some pieces, but dude, if you just got yourself a generational talent there at quarterback, you can build the rest of the draft in the back half and next year around him. Scary good. And that sucks to hear as a Bronco, but Michael Penix as a Raider, I think would be insanely nice.
Done. God, Robert, you get the Saints. The Saints could do a lot of different things. Good luck.
I feel like they need a big boy to protect Derek Carr. I really thinking that Latham would be a good fit. Dude's a beast. Having come from Alabama and doing what he did last season, I really think he'd be a great asset to the Saints offense and for Derek Carr to maybe get a little bit more of an edge, I think, in the game.
Tough to evaluate Derek Carr last year, based on he was under pressure a lot.
And I think that's why
he needs protection.
It's why with doing the research that I was doing, like I said, that's what I was doing most of the weekend, was kind of getting ready for this. And I really think Latham is a perfect fit for this situation. That way Derek Carr can really actually maybe show some talent instead of being under pressure all the time.
Like it.
Cody, you got the Colts, my man. Good luck.
Yeah, this one I was really studying. They can go. I think they're going to go multiple different ways. But who's their head coach? Shane Steichen. What is he like? What did he get when he went on a Super Bowl run? A.J. Brown.
Right.
We have Michael Pittman. They're going to get another big receiver. They're going to draft Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU.
I like that for Anthony Richardson a lot. That offense could be scary good.
I don't even think Pittman's that great, and that makes it even better.
I think Pittman's a bit of a Drake London situation right now. We don't quite know if he's good or bad. We think he's good, but we don't really know. And there are two guys in this draft that give me Anquan Bolden type feels. And that's like if you're not a top dude, if you're not one of the top like 3 or 4 guys in the draft, that's like my Pinky's got his Andy Dalton line when it comes to quarterback evaluation, right? I've got my Anquan Bolden line. If you give me any type of Anquan Bolden vibes, you are on my team. And Brian Wilson he's one of the dudes that gives me some of those vibes. And he led the NCAA last year in touchdowns.
Guys, I messed up on the draft order just a little bit, so I'm going back and fixing it real quick. Math is hard. Just a sec. All right. But I'm on the clock with Seattle. And if this all goes down this way, I think Seattle is like, you know what? We're just going to take the best pass rusher available, and they're going to take a risk because the Seahawks take risk.
West Coast, Latu. I mean, it would make sense.
Also, he started at Washington as well.
Yep.
So it gives him the kind of comes back home, and we'll see how that goes. But I mean, they need a pass rusher. Seattle's defense, linebackers are pretty good. The corners and safeties pretty good. Well, they did release 2 safeties, but oh shoot. Shoot. Okay. Man, I suck at this. All right. Who's got Jacksonville? 17 is Caleb. Caleb, you got Jacksonville.
Oh shoot, which one am I in?
So
I messed it all up, Robert. Just follow my lead now.
All right.
I messed it all
You're
up.
gonna have to wing it.
That's okay. I'm ready.
Pink-
I did
Pink just
I
put
did
some
research
people
this
on the
weekend. Like I
spot to
said,
freeze.
I
Yeah.
came prepared
All right,
anyway,
I like
so
it.
we're
Pinky's
good.
freestyling on you guys. You better be ready to go.
This guy.
Jacksonville, Pinky, if you could go ahead and pull up them interior O linemen for me, if you wouldn't mind. There's a dude right there that a lot of people are talking about as somebody who could be a bit of a bruiser, and he's making a bit of a run. And kind of seeing his tape, Graham Barton is something that Jacksonville desperately needs to keep people from running up the middle at their quarterback, and also forcing their run game to only go wide, because Etienne can run between the tackles if you give him a little bit of daylight. Barton on that offensive line would be not the sexy pick, but it would be the hole filler that you need in Jacksonville to allow that offense to start running again.
I got to say this, though, Caleb. Number 1 on their team needs is cornerback.
No.
And the best 2 corners are still available.
No. I'm tired of the NFL overrating the cornerback position, so I'm not doing that. You can get those guys later in the draft for ease. No need to pull that now. Zero reason to do that now. Also, we've talked about this many times. This is an offensive game now, Pinky, not a defensive game. And if you need offensive help and you literally have holes on your offensive line, you better address those before you address anything else if you have a franchise quarterback.
Which Trevor Lawrence really isn't. So,
well, they better decide. They better decide. But if they think he is, that interior O-line better get fixed, and it better get fixed in the first round. Cornerback is a luxury pick. And you better not be – Broncos learned the hard way. Talk about a wasted pick in Patrick Surtain.
It's not that wasted.
Yeah, it's pretty wasted.
He's still better than Justin Fields, so we're good.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
All right, Robert, you got the Bengals.
Personally, with this one, I was gonna go with a cornerback anyway. Just feel like I could use it. Don't feel any real attachment to it. But Terry and Arnold, I think, would be a really good fit. Just based off what he did, I know that if I understand right, the Bengals really don't have a great cornerback or really good defensive attacker right now in that sense. So I think he'd be great with coming off of Alabama. Would be a pretty good asset to that defensive situation. But I don't really have much other insight than that one.
Solid. I think Cincinnati's in a position where they just need a couple things here and there. So
yep. I think a cornerback would be a really good choice, a really good solid choice for him in this draft.
All right, Cody, you get the Rams.
All right, so
what the heck happened?
Pinky, did you just mess up our draft?
I just messed it all up.
Oh no.
All right, hold on. I have to recreate it.
This guy.
All right, Cody, you just talk. I'm gonna be working.
All right, so the Rams are on the clock. They can go multiple different ways here. I feel like the Rams need a little bit of everything on offensive line. They need defense. They need everything on defense, just about. But with the Aaron Donald retiring, they're probably going to draft another D tackle out of Texas. And that's Byron Murphy II.
Replace Replace
love
the
it.
guy that
I
just
love it.
retired. That would be a huge get for them. There's a lot of people out there who are saying before Donald retired, Rams would have been their NFC co-favorite with the 49ers for the Super Bowl this coming year. So if they can replace Donald with something like that, that would go a long way.
I love Byron Murphy a lot. I really
you
do
do.
like him. So I am with you on that. Oh, what? Wait,
Whoa, it's loading it.
what the hell is going on?
Hang on, it's loading it,
Well, that's
Pinky.
not what we want.
Oh, it's like auto drafting.
Yeah.
No, that was Dallas Turner just went 14th. It's auto drafting.
It
That's not what
auto
we want.
drafted. No, it's not. I'm saying, just never mind.
That wasn't what we wanted it to do. It had Dallas Turner at 14. I drafted him at 8 for the Falcons. So
We know.
It's not what we. It's not what. It's not what we wanted. So, but now I can't get it to scroll. I can't get it to do anything. It's just buffering.
Stop sharing. There you go.
Technical difficulties will resume.
Every time.
Man,
But anyway,
I tell you.
But you're on the
Who just
you're on
went?
the clock, Pinky, with the Steelers.
I'm on the clock with the Steelers. Easy. Jackson Powers Johnson. Done. That dude is a beast. They need a beast. They actually released their center. They don't technically have one at the moment. So this is it's a great pick for them. That's what they need. So
I love that
you don't
pick.
always want to draft
Love
for
that
need,
pick.
but you've got Russell Wilson or Justin Fields playing.
Justin
You're
Fields.
gonna need a good center. So
Abs up
you
14,
gotta have a
by the
good
way.
center.
Throwing it out there.
Well, what just happened? They were down 2-1. What happened?
Yeah, apparently you have a lot of things.
Cody, find out what happened.
They scored 2 goals in like 2 minutes to end the second period.
They scored 3 because
Well, they
It was-
scored 3
it
in the
was
second
2-1.
period, but they scored
Avs
2
are
in 2
up.
minutes.
Avs are up 4-2.
Yeah, I'm watching it, guys. This is on the phone.
all right.
Okay, we got the
So that
basketball
was
game on the TV in front of
oh
me.
my god,
Come on,
amazing!
The games
Absolutely
are on,
fucking
fellas.
amazing.
Steelers took Jack. All right. Who went? Who did? Oh, you took Joe Alt for the Chargers.
Yep.
You're on the clock with 21. I'm not sure who's 21 right now, but
It's
you're
the
on
Miami
clock.
Dolphins.
That'd be back to Caleb because we've all gone now. So Caleb's the 21.
So Dolphins are a little bummed that Murphy just went because they would like to have a presence on that line.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a pass rusher left. And based on the situation Miami's in, they would like to go pass rusher. They also really need to bump up that secondary. And Miami is in a position where they can take a luxury pick. And so I'm drawing a blank on his name all of a sudden, but my boy out of Toledo.
Oh, Quinion Mitchell.
Yes, thank you.
Quinn Mitchell.
Is going to head down to South Beach and play in the sun because Miami can have a luxury pick of taking a top cornerback right now because they kind of got everything else they need.
They
Now,
lost
you
a
could
lot
argue-
on defense, bro.
They could
lost a
argue-
lot on
you-
defense.
Mhm.
I know they did. That's why I'm going defense. I didn't go offense, right? Like they need to fill the offensive side of the ball. They technically have a pass rusher. Whether or not he's going to be on the field is another question. But if you have a pass rusher, you can look at going, adding to the pass rush or starting on the secondary. So I decided to go ahead and start on the secondary.
No, go back. Go back. Terry and Arnold didn't go 14. Who went 14?
Who's 14?
Latham.
That was the same.
Hold on.
That was Latham.
That was Latham.
I don't know how to
So
go back on
then-
this, though.
For 22, that comes to me then, right? For the Eagles.
Yep.
One of these days, you think we'd have this figured out before we started?
So any which way, I had this draft going. I knew he was going to be on the board. This is a personal favorite of mine, coming from the Big Ten himself, Mr. Iowa man, Cooper DeJean. I think he is going to be phenomenal in the Fangio defense. I think it's going to be electric. It's going to be great to see. I also think that we might see him on the special teams to return, which I think he's got some good potential there with his athleticism. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think Deshaun is going to be a great fit at the Eagles. No question.
I love that pick for the Eagles. DeJean's a baller.
Right.
That dude.
All right.
That dude's just a straight baller.
All right, help me out, fellas. We had Joe Alt with the Chargers, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
we had the Giants had Neighbors.
Yep.
The Titans took Bowers.
Yep.
Falcons took Turner. The Bears took Fashanu. And then the Jets took Fuaga.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Vikings ran their card up for McCarthy. Broncos took Adunze. Raiders took Penix. And then
People out there, conversation starter. Do you prefer Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders? Discuss amongst yourselves.
Deion. He played longer.
Yeah.
Bo, for sure.
Yeah, I'm on the Bo
Nah,
side.
man.
What if his career went longer? Whoo! We
All right,
should be having a
Indy,
different conversation.
Jesse Owens, Jim Thorpe. Discuss.
Indy took
went
Brian
Brian
Thomas. Then we had Seattle, and they took Latu. 17 was Jacksonville, and you had them taking Barton.
But we're getting close, people. We're almost back.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost back. Well, I'm getting there. We had Arnold go 18. Rams took Byron Murphy. And then I had the Steelers take Jackson Powers Johnson. Miami took
Mitchell.
Quinion
who?
Mitchell.
Mitchell. And then the Eagles just took Cooper DeJean.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it's my
All
pick
right.
with the Vikings again.
We are back on it.
Boom.
Yeah, so the Vikings are we're probably gonna go on a little continue a run, and they're gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry, corner out of Bama.
Kool-Aid.
Good fit. That's dangerous.
Minnesota needs help in their defense.
A lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need some help on that
Oh,
defensive
shit.
side of the ball.
Does that mean I got a draft for Dallas?
You
Yeah.
do have to draft for Dallas.
That was the
Oh,
original
man.
plan anyways.
God, Dallas could go a lot of different ways here,
You going to share it again?
but am I not sharing?
You are
Nope.
not sharing.
Oh, so you guys got to keep me honest on that. I didn't know.
Well,
I'm not.
we're still unsure if you actually fixed everything.
What I'm
Yeah.
sharing,
There we go.
I'm not looking at the screen, so
Yeah, he buffers.
I can't see myself.
All right. You're up with Dallas.
We're good.
All
How
right,
does
they're going to
Dallas
take Troy
screw
Font
this
now.
up, Pinky?
They're going to take Troy Font now. Great O tackle from Washington. Dallas believes in their own line.
Really
What they're
good
gonna
tackle. Yeah. Like it. Beautiful.
Hold on. I started changing the order as we get towards the end, so let me just make sure. Caleb, yeah, you got Green Bay, baby.
I mean, Green Bay doesn't need to do a whole lot on the offensive. They could stack that O-line and just make that offense even more dangerous. Or they could try adding another piece to the defense, which should perform better based on the talent we believe is there, but has slightly underperformed until the playoff run last year. I'm torn between Jared Verse because if he's here, that's crazy. And that kind of pass rush and that pressure from a defensive side to go along with that offense that's going to put pressure on teams would be absurd. But then I look at Mims sitting here as well, and that's a big, nasty boy that they could use on that O-line. And we know how I feel about O-line and D-line. And so I'm torn between these two. I dislike Florida State more than I dislike my Georgia Bulldogs. So I'm going to go Mims here, but it truly is a coin flip for me. And if either one of these came true for the Packers, they'd be ecstatic in my mind.
With them letting Bakhtiari go, I like this a lot.
That's really the coin flip lean for me, Pinky. So I agree. That's kind of the pushing it over the edge, if you will. But man, Jared Verse falls to them there. That'd be not a bad pick by any means.
Robert, you've got 26. You've got Tampa, baby.
So this one, I was just kind of picking a tackle or a rusher. So I was either going to go with Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. He's a solid dude. Feel like that'd be a good addition to Tampa, especially with Baker. Maybe getting him some extra protection there. We'll see. But the other one that I was thinking, it was Chop Robinson. Couldn't necessarily go wrong with that, but I think honestly I'm going to lead towards more Guyton on this one. I just feel like it'd be a solid addition.
I mean, I would say if Jared Verse was on the board here like he is, there's no way Tampa doesn't grab Jared Verse. And
that's fair. I didn't even think. I thought he was grabbed a while ago. My bad.
Pinky, it's not your pick though.
Yeah,
it's not my pick. It's not my pick.
No.
I'm just trying to help.
Put the Mims pick in and then converse.
No, honestly, I thought Verse was gone, so that's why I was going with Guyton. So I'm just gonna stick with that, and it's gonna be Guyton. So Verse is still on the board.
Look, somebody always falls. We just never know who it's going to be. Just happens to be Jared Verse for this scenario.
But yeah, I'm going with Guyton on this one.
And then Cody, you got the Cardinals.
All right, so Cardinals can do whatever they want, but with Jared Verse sitting there, they're going to take Jared Verse and get some pass rush.
And they're super happy.
Yeah, they are jumping for joy.
Imagine they got Marvin Harrison and Jared Verse in the same draft and they didn't have to trade back. That would be winning.
I think they would take that. They would take that every day.
Yeah.
This is where after this pick, we're going to mix it up just a little bit. So I've got 28 with the Buffalo Bills.
Here's the deal. There's a dude at the combine who ran really fast. Like really fast. And he's also got the frame that I believe will allow him to put on mass as he grows into being a man and a professional football player. That man is a position of need for the Buffalo Bills. And if he comes in and can be a contributor from day one, is scary dangerous with Josh Allen. And as Pinky put it up there, Mr. Adonai Mitchell, come on down because that's a crazy good fit.
And that's actually completely wrong because you were talking about Xavier Worthy.
I mean, sorry, I want Worthy, not Mitchell. Take off Mitchell.
But this was
Take
my
off
pick.
Mitchell, I want Worthy. You just told me
this
Buffalo
was
was
my
my pick.
No,
You just told me it was my pick.
I said after this pick, we're going to change the order.
He did say that.
Caleb,
he did say that. You misheard him, Caleb.
I said after this pick, we're going to change up the order. Buffalo's taking a Danye Mitchell. They're not taking no short-ass, small-ass receiver and Xavier Worthy.
Worthy's not short, so do your own research, buddy. He's over 6 foot.
Yeah, he looks small as shit.
At 6'4". I think he's at 6 foot.
He's 6'1" and something, I believe, but he's not
165.
Yeah, he'll put on weight. The frame's all there.
All right. So, thank you for your comments, Caleb. But they go with Adonai Mitchell, the other.
Well, you told me it was my pick, so I was.
I did not. I did.
Everybody else heard you say it was my pick. Everybody else heard it.
No, we said you were wrong. He said he's gonna pick, and then we're gonna change the order. But anyway, the Lions were promised.
You said Caleb, it's your pick.
I did not.
Oh, he did.
You did. Definitely did. Definitely did.
Anyway,
why would you change the order when that was my pick to begin with?
No, Buffalo is my pick. I messed up the order a while ago. I already told you that. Cody just picked Jared Verse for Arizona. I'm on the clock for Buffalo. This next pick would technically be yours, but I made sure that Robert had the Lions because he's a Lions fan. So Robert's on the clock with the Lions.
My boy needs some help. Aiden Hutchinson. This would be a dynamic duo. I really believe in the Darius Robinson from Missouri. I honestly was expecting Wiggins to be taken a while ago, so I was set in my ways with Darius Robinson. But I know for a fact the Lions, if Wiggins is available, will grab him over Robinson. But I'm going with Darius Robinson on this.
But you also liked Chop Robinson earlier, and he's still on the board too, Robert.
I did, but I was going through all my things, thinking that was not going to be a situation. I don't know how that would work for Chop Robinson. And in that situation, I personally think that Nate Wiggins or Darius Robinson would be the better pick. But I think Aiden Hutchinson and Darius would link up pretty good.
There we are. All right, Cody, you're on the clock.
Well, with for Baltimore, I'm gonna give them a rusher, and I'm gonna take Chop Robinson.
Yo, that's a Baltimore pick right there. That is a Baltimore pick. Chop is amazing. That's a great pick. Mm-hmm. I really like Chop a lot. I think he would fit in with Baltimore and what they like to do. No problem at all.
With that defense, with those linebackers, that's going to be scary if that happened.
Well, the 49ers always seem to have some trouble covering good teams. Their secondary was not great down the stretch last year. So I think they'd be very happy to see Nate Wiggins fall into their lap here. And Nate Wiggins is now, although I think they would possibly entertain trading out as well. But I think they'd be more than happy to grab Nate Wiggins. And Caleb, you get the defending back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Take it away.
Xavier Worthy replaced Tyreek Hill. Move along.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't like that at all. I just don't think they want to repeat that. They've done that multiple times. So
I don't think any of those last 3 to 4 teams stay in those spots, to be honest with you. So
the problem with those spots is it's like I feel like a lot of those teams will trade. I think almost all of those teams will trade out if given the right package. I just don't think a lot of people want to give up the right stuff to get into those positions.
Possibly. That is very possible.
Now, Xavier Worthy would be gone. And I don't think it gives us the option to show the whole draft. It's either restart or save.
Yeah, so save it.
Let's see what it does.
And it'll show the draft.
And then it will. That may have been the fastest we've ever done that. That was good job,
it was
fellas.
a little quick.
That's a good job. So, at first glance, is there any? I mean, we already know like the top 4 or 5 picks. Like those are all pretty good fits.
The first
What's
pick
that one
of the
guy
draft
that
will
just
be
like,
the
wow,
only one
that
we
would
get
be
right.
amazing.
That first pick of the draft will be the only one we get right.
That might be true. That might be true because I do think the Rams and Byron Murphy make a lot of sense. Like that just makes crazy amount of sense. I do think Jackson Powers Johnson or Graham Barton make a lot of sense for the Steelers. I think Jacksonville would take a corner myself. But
it's not what we think
you're
they're
not
going to
wrong
do.
in saying protect Trevor Lawrence. You're not wrong, but I just feel like they're gonna think, hey, let's keep making the deep. Like their corners are not great, so I think they would definitely benefit there. I kind of like Mims a lot in Green Bay. I like that. I mean, Jared Verse in Arizona, that's just nasty. You give them Marvin Harrison, Aaron Jared Verse, that's just disgusting.
Again,
you give
somebody's fallen. Somebody's
Aiden
fallen. It
Hutchinson
happens
any
every
help,
year.
and that's awesome. Well, I mean, as you can see, there's a run on tackles. Like these guys go quick. Like that pushes everybody down. I think I don't think there's going to be a lot of trades this year. That's my thought. I don't think there'll be a lot of trades. Because I think people are going to be like, you know what? There's so many good players. I think there's so many good players in this draft. People aren't going to want to give up like 3 good players for what they think is a great player.
I could see that. There's a lot of depth in this draft. A lot of depth. I mean, there's a couple of wide receivers who are going to go outside the first round who I think are first-round talent.
Oh, absolutely. Like I like Troy Franklin. I like Keon Coleman from Florida State. I like Malachi Corley.
Yep.
Those dudes, they're all going to go second round, and I think they're going to be studs. So I think there's still a lot of good O-line depth. There's still some guys in the second round you can get. I think as much offensive players, because wide receivers and tackles are going to go, and quarterbacks, tons of defensive players are going to get pushed down the board. Tons of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I wouldn't be shocked if Kool-Aid and Nate Wiggins don't go to the second round.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either if those guys fell out.
Robert, what are you thinking? I know this is the first time you've done a mock draft.
I'm just trying to take it all in, honestly. I had to cram in a lot of knowledge in for not a long time. No, it's been really cool. I'm excited to see a lot more what these trades mean and kind of see how that works, looking at it from a different lens now. So kind of seeing what the impact it really has, if there are any. So
I think there'll be a couple. I just think they're going to be more in like the top 15 picks than you see in the bottom 15.
Fair enough.
Cody, what do you got, my man?
This was my first mock draft as well. It was tons of fun. I see a lot of mind-blowing picks gonna happen here in this on Thursday. I think we're gonna see a lot of action and some surprise move-ups too.
Okay.
So
you thinking that's early or late, or just all throughout the first round?
I feel like we discussed when pick 3 hits. That's where I feel like the action is going to start, and teams are just going to hold their cards and not show them until it's their time to pick. So
you think
I feel like
anybody think the Patriots can Could the Patriots really get out of picking a quarterback here?
No, they have to.
I mean, I think Jacoby Brissett is a serviceable quarterback. I was even debating at that time where they just take Joe Alt to tackle and just build their own line.
I mean, the Patriots are so bad depth-wise. I mean, they're as bad as the Broncos. They might be worse overall, depth-wise, than the Broncos. They could take any player, and it's an upgrade over what they have right now. So, I 3 and 4, 3, 4, 5. Those are like top like trade spots. The word is the Chargers would love to trade out if they can. So that's where, if McCarthy's still on the board and that's who the Chargers or the Vikings want, I think the Chargers would be more than happy to take 11 and 23 because they could still get one of the tackles and still get another player as well. So, and technically they could get Neighbors and a tackle at 23 if they really wanted. So,
a lot of options.
I mean, the only thing we know is Caleb Williams is going number 1 for the most part. Like you said earlier, Caleb, you were pretty much spot on there. We know that one. Everything else, we're just kind of guessing.
I'm gonna watch him take Drake May.
There's no way the Bears take Drake May.
Oh God, just kill us all.
There's no way that happens. So, I love mock drafts. I love the draft. The draft to me is again the favorite time of the year, and going to the draft just really like you see fans of every team. They all have hope. Most of the fans that go to the draft are pretty diehard fans, not the VIPs. The VIP fans are not real fans. I will say that right now. They just have enough money that they're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go to the draft. They're not real fans. The real fans are the guys that are out there right out by the gate, standing all day for 8 hours to watch the draft. And you will see representatives of every single team. And one of the things I try to do is I always try to go and talk to anybody I see that's wearing different colors than mine, and just see what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Who do you want to draft? What do you guys think you need? You will get so many different opinions and thoughts, and it's so much fun, so much fun. So hopefully, some of us married guys, I'll get you guys out to a draft sometime. Hopefully
Next year.
Green Bay, baby. Green Bay.
Yes, sir.
We'll see what the next one is. I really, really want to go to New Orleans. So, but I might just go there for a game. We'll see. Caleb, what are your final thoughts, my man?
I want chaos. I want chaos.
You always vote for chaos. I mean, that's normal. That's normal.
Well, I mean, I always want it. I don't always think it's going to happen, but I think it's coming this year, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that first round is just going to be epic.
We'll see. There's just something about this draft. I feel like we're just going to have like a handful of trades. It's not going to be the chaos that we're thinking. Because I feel like anytime we think there's going to be chaos, there's not. Anytime we think it's pretty even keel and everything's great, then we have chaos. It's really weird that way.
We will see. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Pinky, you enjoy yourself. I know we'll get updates. On that note, do not hesitate. Take that time. Take advantage. Cherish those moments you have with your inner circle, loved ones, family, friends, whoever you let in, whoever you hold close. Do not let those moments go and not be taken advantage of. Appreciate all of you. Can't thank you enough. Till next week. Wait
Cheers.
for it. We're out.
Let's go.
lane when I pass in the street. Bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never